Well, happy Thanksgiving, everyone! And for today's Thanksgiving special, I'm going to be winding every single clock in my collection. So let's begin. So we're gonna start off with these three first. I'll have to do these without holding the phone because the weight on these are heavy, and I don't wanna cause any damage to the movements because these are very old. So I'll do a little trick for y'all. Shit. Alright, this one has been wound, and now we will move on to the next one. Alright, up next is the 1920s Keylinger. Alright, that one's done. Now we will move on to the next one. Alright, now that those two are done, now we can move on to the Ithaca. So, and this, oh shit. And we get the key. And start winding. Alright, that one's done. always get always get confused on which way the latch is at. Alright, the Three Stooges are done. Now we'll move on to these ones. Alright, we're gonna start up with the Kraftbierens first. Alright, that one's done. Now I'll move on to the Vedette. Alright, there we go. Make sure it's not stuck, because sometimes the strike mechanism gets stuck sometimes. And we're good. Alright, I'm not gonna wind the time side fully, because there is a a literal wooden skewer that's holding it in, and I don't want it to come loose and potentially causing damage to the movement. So I'm not going to wind it fully, just to be safe. But I wound it enough so that way it has enough power to run for a few days. Anyways, that one's wound. Now we will wind the Odo next. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have a key, so I have to steal the Gustav Becker's key to wind it. It's no big deal. Alright. Gotta hold the clock with my elbow because it will tend to lean sideways sometimes. It's not the most stable thing in the world, but whatever. Alright, the Odo's been wound. Let's see what time it is. 29. Alright, it's good. Alright. And while I'm at it, I'll wind the Gustav Becker, everyone's favorite in my collection. Thought it leaned for a second. We're good. Shit. Oh shit. That was the Malta. Alright. Okay, both of these are keeping good time. Alright. It is 2:30, so everything is about to go off at the 2:30 mark. And I'll wind this one. I usually don't, but it's Thanksgiving, so why not wind it? I'm gonna have to put my camera on the tripod again because it does lean when I wind it. All right, we're set to go. Oh, wrong way. Alright, the DNA 31 day wall clock has been wound. Now we will move on to the next clock. Alright, up next is the 1970s Howard Miller Shelburne regulator. I believe it's from the 70s. That's what I remember from when I bought it from the guy 3 years ago. I'm gonna wind it slowly because I don't want the ratchets. I don't want the ratchets to disengage with the ratchet wheel, like what happened a few weeks ago when I wound it too fast. Alright, the Shelburne has been wound, and while I'm at it, I'll wind my Freischwinger up. So let's do that real quick. Oh yeah, and that thing. Oh yeah, and that too, I guess. Okay, the video has been going on for 9 minutes so far, and we're not even done in the main room yet. Wow. It's crazy. That one's good. I'll do that one last. I changed my mind. Alright, up next is the Kinsler. What time is it right now? 36. That's all you gotta do for the time side, because remember it has a popped spring, so it's not gonna wind fully, but it has enough power to run a few. The fuck am I saying? It has enough power to run for a few days. God, I hate my stuttering. Whatever, it is what it is. Anyways, next we will do the Ansonia. It is 37. It's going a little bit too fast, so you'll go there. Alright. That one's good. Just set it back a little bit so I can reach this one. I think I've mentioned this before in my other videos when I'm winding this, that this is my favorite clock to wind, I think, because it's quite smooth and pleasurable thing to wind. So yeah, it is probably one of my favorites, or even maybe my favorite, in fact. I don't know yet. But yeah, it is definitely my favorite clock to wind out of all the clocks that I have. Very smooth and pleasurable to wind when you get the chance to. Very nice. All right. And Sonia has been wound. 38. A little bit too. There we go. Yeah, there we go. All right, that one's done. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm very particular about keeping my clocks accurate. I mean, isn't that what they're meant to do? Not wrong. All right, the last one. Do my homemade wall clock that I made months back. There's no dial. I don't know where it went. I lost it. That one's going off. All right. Yeah, like I said, the dial and hands. I don't know where they went. I lost them, but whatever. It's fine. I can just order new ones. Not that hard to find. Anyways, this one has been wound. Now everything has been wound in the main room. Now we will move on to the other room where the rest of the clocks are. Alright, we're in here now. First we're going to start off with the Seth Thomas 124. Turn it back just a little bit. Alright, this one has been wound. 1240. You'll go there. Oh shit. Alright, this one has been wound. Now we'll move on to those ones over there. Alright, I'm gonna start off with the R&M first. Gotta be careful about this one because it's not that well. It's not. The weight is coming loose a little bit because the bottom cap is like warped to hell. So I'll have to fix that. But it's surprisingly held up well. Anyways, now we'll move on to my wag on the wall. Alright, that one's been wound. Now we'll do the 31-day thing next. Wrong side. There we go. Oh shit. There we go. Yeah, it leaned a little bit, but I fixed that. Yeah, this video is probably going to go on for 20 minutes, which is probably my longest video that I've filmed so far, but I don't know yet. But it probably is. Alright. It's out of beat again, of course. Alright. Alright, there we go. This one's been wound. Now, while I'm at it, I'll wind the Sonora over there. Alright, up next, Sonora. I have the flash on so that you guys can see it better. It is kind of dark in this area over here a little bit. Alright. We'll even do this one. I don't do this one often because it flies on a full wind whenever this thing chimes, so that's why I don't wind it often, but just for this video I will. Oh yeah, and what I mean by often, I don't wind it fully often, but when I do, it's when I feel like it. But usually I just wind it halfway. But yeah. Alright. Sonora has been wound. And now we will move on to the last few clocks that are in this other room. Alright, we have come to this room. So I'll start off with the small little Regula Black Forest shield clock. There's the weight. Alright. So we can get you a good view of that weight at the bottom. Alright. Alright, the Regula has been wound. Now we will move on to the reproduction New England Vienna regulator wall clock. I'll turn on the flash for this one because the lighting in here sucks for some reason. I don't know why. Actually, the flash doesn't help at all. You turn on the brightness. There we go. Forgot I can do that. Alright. And yes, that is a small, tiny ass pencil in there. That's from my junior year of high school. I keep it in there because why not? Anyways, this one's been wound. Now we'll do this one since it's not mine, but I'll still do it. But unfortunately I'll have to do it off camera because it's hung on there without the wag on the wall hook, because I got this thing without the backboard, so it's hung on there by the top piece of wood somehow. So I'll have to do this off camera, unfortunately, but it's no big deal for me, at least. But yeah, maybe next time I'll do it. Alright, this one's been wound safely because it's not hung on there very stably, because as I said, it's hung on there by the top piece of wood instead of the hanger that's built into the back. But yeah, this one's been wound safely. Now we'll move on to the last two clocks over there, then we'll be done with this video. Alright, we have made it to the last two. We'll start off with the Sessions WC94 first. Always forget which size key it takes. Is it this one? No. What about this one? There we go. Alright, we can start the winding process. I don't like to wind this thing fully because if anyone knows about Sessions clocks and their ratchets, you know. They suck. Alright, that's it. However, the time side on this thing is surprisingly held up well, so that's good. Alright, there we go. Alright, that one's been wound. Now we'll move on to the last clock officially. It's the little Seth Thomas Bim Bam on coiled gongs. It's essentially the same. It's essentially the same thing as the Gustav Becker. Like I was saying, it's essentially the same thing. This is in a mantle clock form, and the gongs are higher pitched. Oh shit. So yeah. Turn up the brightness. There we go. Yeah, I don't know why the brightness sucks in here for some reason. Or because of the light that's in here. I don't know. Yeah, it likes to move a lot. It's not very heavy. Yeah, it's not very heavy, so it's obvious. It's a little small mantle, so it's not going to be that stable. Will it fit in there? Alright. Alright. This one has been wound, and I believe that's all the clocks in my collection that are wound. So, I'll do the outro, and we'll be done. Alright, that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the Thanksgiving winding clock special, and make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Bye.